Okay, so people really enjoy going to the racetrack. And why not? There's so much there. Whether you're a novice who, you don't know any of the horses, you don't know the trainers, you don't know the jockeys, or somebody who's way into horse racing, you know all the current horses, the past horses, the trainers, the jockeys. It's just fun, and people love to do it. And why not? There's so much to enjoy going to the races. The horses, they're beautiful and they're athletic, and the jockeys, they're so talented and, can I say, courageous. I mean, come on, it's a sport where you have an ambulance literally following you while you do your thing. So the jockeys are personable, and they're fun to watch because what they do is crazy. The tracks themselves, they're beautiful. Del Mar and Saratoga and Keeneland and Gulfstream. There's just they're places that are just fun to be, and they're beautiful. It's usually upbeat and fun, and people are generally enjoying themselves. The fashion, you get to there's certain races and certain race days and certain experiences where you get to dress up, and you get to you have the fun of kind of doing that, whether it's the Derby or opening day at Keeneland, or big stakes race, or the Breeders' Cup. You get to dress up and you get to dress the part and have fun doing that. A lot of the tracks have signature cocktails or signature food that the track is well known for, and you get to experience that. And then betting, you get to bet on each race, which gives you a little bit more of a stake as to who you're rooting for and what horse, and so you're a little more invested in it. There's just so many reasons to go to the track and enjoy it. But I'm going to share with you and talk about a really unique thing horse racing has, and that's you can be an owner. I'd never be able to be an owner of or part owner of the Yankees or the Pittsburgh Steelers or the LA Lakers. I just won't. But I can be a part owner or owner of a professional racehorse and be part of that team. And that's really fun. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the idea of, is it beneficial to own a racehorse? Short answer, yes. Yes, it is. If you're doing it for the right reasons. If you're doing it to make some money and as an investment, probably not beneficial. It's probably not going to happen for you, because the reality is most racehorses don't make money. That's just the reality of it. Only a small percentage of them actually pay for their upkeep and the price that you paid for them. Most of them will lose money. I heard a stat a while back, and it said 80% of all racehorses lose money. I might even think it might even be more than that. But yeah, an awful lot of horses. The point is, if you're investing to make money, chances are you're not going to make that money. Now, those that do make money, that 20% or whatever profit, do make some money, make enough so that horse racing as a whole is profitable. But you gotta pick the right horses, you gotta have the right horse, and you have to have a little bit of luck. So doing it for an investment's probably not going to be beneficial for you, but it is an experience like no other. If you're doing it for the experience of horse ownership and just all the things that brings, the excitement, the joy, then it's beneficial. Then it's a really good deal for you to do. Something you should look into doing. I heard it put this way, that it's kind of like buying season tickets. You're going to be a fan at a higher level. You're going to be a fan more invested. This is even more than that. I mean, what other sport are you going to have the experience of actual ownership, and being able to know you're part of the team and part of the process? Race day itself is so incredible. You get to be at the races. Generally, you'll be in an owner's box, and you'll before your race, you'll get to go down to the paddock and meet the jockey, and the trainer will be there, and you get to see your horse come out all saddled up with all the gear on, and Again, the jockey has the racing stable silks on, so that's exciting enough. And then the horse actually gets in the gate and you're nervous as all get out because you have a lot more invested than just a bet on this one. And then the horse breaks and hopefully breaks clean, and you're worried about that. And then are they going to run the race that you heard the trainer talk to the jockey about? Are they running their race? Oh my gosh. And then they turn for home. Nothing like it. Your horse turning for home with a chance to win, duking it out, coming down the home stretch. It's an experience that just gives you chills. It's unbelievable. If you're fortunate enough and have your horse win, amazing. You get to go to the winner's circle, get your picture taken. That's the pinnacle of it, being able to be there, be part of the win. But there's other things that go into the experience as well. It's not just race day and hopefully winning and your horse doing their thing, which, by the way, if your horse doesn't win, whether it wins or doesn't win, you're also on pins and needles. Did the horse come out of the race okay? You're waiting for the trainer to tell you the next day, came out of the race fine, eating all its feed, everything's good, and that's always something you're hoping to hear, and you usually do, but not always, but hopefully you get to hear that. But there's so much more to the experience of horse ownership. You get to go to the track. If you're lucky enough to be near your horse or close to your horse or actually go visit, you can go watch the morning workouts. Usually with the trainer will be there and you'll be telling you what they plan to do and what the exercise rider, sometimes the jockey rides the horse in the morning. But you get to watch the horse work out in the morning. You get to go back to the barn. You get to, feed your horse carrots and scratch its nose, and you just kind of see it in its everyday life, and quite frankly, somewhat build a relationship with that horse and get to know it. You get to talk to the trainer, get to know the trainer, get his insight, and man, I've learned so much from the experience of talking to trainers and just kind of. They love talking about horses, and so you get them back there, and they'll talk your ear off, and it's really exciting and fun. Again, like I said, on race day, you get paddock access, winner's circle if you win. You're part of the team. Get to know the trainers. You get to know the jockey. If the jockey continues to ride your horse, and your horse is fortunate enough to be racing every month, and you get to know the jockey, you get to know the grooms, the ones who take care of your horse, the exercise rider. Heck, on one of mine, I know the I know the vet because I'm around back at the barn so often, and the vet comes, and you get to meet some fellow owners, like-minded people who are invested in the same horse or rooting for that same horse. It's just kind of a community feel, and you're part of the team. The other thing is there are ways to make money. Don't get me wrong. Horses do make money. You can, when the horse wins, you do get part of the purse money, whatever percent, whatever ownership the horse does win some races or finish in the top 5. It gets some purse money. You can make some money that way. You can have it get claimed away in a claiming race, and then you get part of that money. Brood mares, oftentimes fillies and mares when they retire, they can become brood mares, and you can sell them as that, or you can continue on with them and invest in, in her breeding horses. And so you can do it that way. If you're fortunate enough, don't count on it, but the real home run is if you actually get a stud or a stallion. But for most of us, that's not going to happen. They're so rare that you end up with the horse retiring as a stallion. But it happens for some people. It does happen for them. Now, there is a risky side to it all. It's not for the faint of heart, so to speak. A lot of horses don't make it to the racetrack. A lot of horses get hurt. Their career ends. I've had a horse actually got a phone call that the horse passed away, had colic, and suddenly passed away. That's reality. Sometimes that happens. A lot of times you have horses that just their injuries and they're fragile and they don't get to the track, and it's pretty frustrating, and you're excited about your horse racing and you want to see it. Usually they run about every month or so. But if they get hurt and they have to have some time off to rehab or deal with an injury, it can be pretty frustrating. You have to be incredibly patient. Again, it's not for everybody. Horse racing's really unpredictable. Sometimes the weather keeps races from happening, and we've had that before, especially a turf horse. It comes off the turf and you want your horse running on the turf. That happens, and like I say, after, coming out of races, you hope they come out healthy. There's just so many variables and things that could go wrong that you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to roll with things really well. Okay, so how do you get in on this? How do you end up owning part of a horse or own all the horses? Different ways. You can be a sole proprietor where you own the horse. The trainer works for you. You guys decide together what races they're in, what level they run at, where they run at. And, financially, that's a huge commitment. Whether you buy a $10,000 claimer or you buy a $1 million horse at a sale, that's you're financially responsible for that. Again, the perk is you get to help make the calls with the trainer. You're in control. That's the fun part. The financial, you're 100% on the hook for the finances. Again, for a horse to train for a year, pure ballpark figure, it's about $50,000. Might be more, might be less, depending on where your horse is. Might depend on if your horse is healthy, if you're shipping your horse places. There's a lot of variables, but just for give you an idea, it's about $50,000 to keep a horse in training. Another thing you can do if you don't want to own it solely, you can get a group of friends together. 2, 3, 4, 5 of you go in on a horse. Sometimes you can talk to trainers and they have other people who want to be in on a horse. Sometimes they're in on the horse. Let's say you want 50% of the horse, or you want 20% of the horse, 10%. Under 10, you're probably going to want to go a different avenue. You can do that, but if you want to have a say in what's going on, you gotta have a big chunk, 25, 50, somewhere in there. So horse ownership, you can be sole ownership, or you can be in with a group of people. The other one, if it's under 10%, 1 to 10%, you can go in with different partnership groups, different syndications. People such as West Point Thoroughbreds, Pocket Aces, Victory Racing, just Little Red Feather. There's groups out there where that's what they do. They manage the horses, and you end up paying them or going through them, and they're the ones that talk to the trainer and they communicate with you. Hey, horse work today. The trainer said this is what happened. It was good work. It was so they're communicating with the trainer through and to you. So you don't have a lot of control in decisions made, but you do have ownership. You do get the perks, the paddock, the race day, the visits. You're a big part of the team, so to speak. But again, you have a managing partner who kind of speaks for you and is the go-between for them, and they generally, most of them do a pretty good job, and you can get in for as little as 1%, and anyways up as high as you want. But usually for the partnership groups, it's about 1 to 10%, and again, you buy in. What they do is you can get a horse as a foal. That's not super common, but you can get a foal. Yearlings, you can buy a yearling. A lot of times you get in as a 1-year-old. They're in auction, and so with these different partnership groups will buy them as yearlings. They'll put them into training. They'll pass them on to a trainer at a track. 2-year-olds, they're big on buying 2-year-olds is where they start actually racing. So yearlings, they buy them, you usually invest in, then you wait and you watch the horse grow and develop. You can get in at 2-year-olds. Sometimes you can buy a horse, you can buy a horse from auction that is already racing, or there are claiming groups where they'll go out and they'll claim a horse that's already racing. So it's quick action that way, where they're already up and running. Personally, I kind of like buying in on a yearling and watching them grow and develop. You gotta be really patient though. Takes quite a while, or buy in on a 2-year-old who hasn't raced yet. And kind of watch them grow, and I love watching them debut. So that's where you buy. Like I said, that's where you buy in from 1 to 10%. You share the risk. Hopefully that way you can afford to go on more than one horse. Another way to do it, a great way to start off, if you want to, just kind of get the idea of, hey, what's this horse racing experience like at kind of the entry level position. I don't know if I should say entry level position, but the least risk for sure is a lot. Some of them do less than 1%, and it's a one-time fee. People like my Racehorse or California Thoroughbred Racing Club, you get a small, like under 1%, 0.1 or really small percent, and then you have no other expenses. With the 1 to 10%, when you buy managing and you go in on a partnership group like that, you'll go in for initial investment on the horse, and then you'll pay a monthly or a quarterly fee for the horse's expenses as they move forward. The one-time fee, where there's really small percentage, you pay that up front, you pay a certain amount, and then you don't get billed for anything else after that. You just enjoy the experience. I know California Thoroughbred Racing Club, man, they treat you well. You get a lot of the perks. They treat you like you own 10% of the horse. You get access to the barn, to the horses, the trainer. He'll spend all kinds of time with you. You get to go to the paddock. You get race day accommodations. So if you're out in Southern California Thoroughbred Racing Club, I highly recommend it. But these are the experiences. This is a way to kind of get your foot in the door as those one-time payment ways. So there's all these ways to get in on the horse racing experience, and that's what you're doing it for. You're doing it because you love horse racing. You want a really unique experience that you don't get to do in a lot of other sports. It's way beyond betting. It's way beyond. Your investment is so personal, and you feel like, again, well, you are a part of the team, and you feel it, and that horse is important to you. It's your horse. And so I highly recommend, if you love horse racing, if you like the action, you want to learn about horse racing at a whole nother level, I highly recommend horse ownership. If you're looking to make some money, I wouldn't do it. If you're looking for it as an investment, I would stay away from it. If you're not able to be patient and handle the ups and downs, the unpredictability of a horse getting to the track and the horse getting in there, it'll be pretty frustrating for you. So it probably wouldn't be beneficial for you if you don't want to deal with that part of it. And that's fine if you don't, because it's a lot of it. It's hard. Again, not for the faint of heart. It's tough to be able to weather the storm sometimes, and frustrating to have a horse close to running and then not. One of the things I've done to overcome that sort of thing is Kevin and I have a bunch of horses, and so we've had as many as 9 at one time, and right now we have 5, and so you hope one of them's running or 2 of them are running, and it kind of scratches that itch that you have for the action of the horses running. So if the idea of horse racing ownership appeals to you, I highly recommend looking in at one of these areas of investment and investing into horse ownership, whether it's sole proprietorship, whether it's getting in with some other partners, if it's going with a partnership group and buying in and then paying your monthly and quarterly fees, or if you want to just get in and pay a one-time fee and get in and just enjoy it. Again, good luck. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you can, I'd love it if you could like and subscribe. Thank you so much.